All right, guys. So we are doing a late night live here on YouTube, helping people quit cannabis, doing a live Q&A regarding cannabis and other substances and helping people quit. Now, how this will work is questions will come in, and then I'll answer those questions that I see appearing in the comments throughout tonight's live. Now, real quick, if you enjoy the content here and you are an entrepreneur, business owner, high-level professional who's struggling in silence with substance use, we have a protocol designed specifically for you. And I put a link in the video description in the pinned comment so you can learn a bit more about that. If you are someone who is struggling with this stuff and you like what I have to say tonight, check that out. Otherwise, we're going to wait for questions to come in. If you're catching the replay of this, you might want to fast forward a little bit so you catch on once the conversation gets going. All right, guys, I see some people joining. Feel free, just post your questions in the comments and then I'll do my best to answer them. If you're struggling with cannabis, substance use, maybe binge drinking, nicotine, whatever it may be, I'm happy to help you out with that. So really though, what I do is I respond to the questions, guys. So I don't come here with an agenda per se. I kind of put myself in the hot seat to answer questions from you guys. So if you're struggling with something related to cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, adult media content, stimulants, whatever it may be, drop a question for me. I'll let you guys know. What's going on, Mad World Explorer? I see Del Noah. Very good, guys. Excellent to have you here tonight. Hopefully you're doing well. All right. I keep trying to quit. Yeah, every time I can't get through 24 hours and I only smoke once or twice a backwoods a night. Yeah, the quantity that you smoke and the frequency doesn't matter. That doesn't really determine the challenge that a person's going to face in stopping, okay? I've worked with people who smoke every day and they have an insane dependency going into quitting and they have an easy time stopping. Then I have people who smoke maybe just on weekends and it's really disrupting their life and they're having a really hard time quitting. Minus the physical dependency and detox process. Like I'd have to ask you, Aljar 951, what jams you up in the first 24 hours? Do you stop and then do you get really bad withdrawals and detox symptoms? Or no, is it more a mindset problem that you keep going back to it after 24 hours? Like what is it specifically that you're struggling with in that 24-hour window of trying to stop? That's what I need to know to help you out. I have a feeling it's not so much detox and withdrawal. I think you likely have a mindset problem. So you stop, you get cravings. Cravings are perceived as uncomfortable, and then you see relief in consuming the drug to provide comfort from those cravings. Okay. I have a feeling that's likely something that's happening with you. And listen, you have to break this mindset. You can do something for 24 hours. Unless you're facing horrid detox and withdrawal symptoms, you are capable of doing this. And it's sad because people have a hard time committing to things these days for a period of 3 days, 72 hours. I mean, there's a lot of people out there who can't commit to something for even 24 hours. And I say, like, you have an insane opportunity to develop just a killer mindset by making a commitment to yourself and seeing it through, even if it's only for 24 hours, 72 hours, 3 months, 3 years. Imagine what that could do for you in other realms of your life if you actually got the ability to commit to something and see that something through. And then you carry that mentality onto other aspects of your life. But I need more specifics from you. Now, you're asking me, I see here about ADHD. And if that's impacting your ability to quit and addictive personalities, listen, just don't do that. Yes, it plays a role, but you have to understand something. Everyone who is struggling with a substance use disorder has a reason why, right? So one person says it's ADHD, another person says it's my history of trauma, another person says, it has to do with my hormones and stuff like that. Okay, everyone has something. Don't validate the excuses that addicted voice is coming up with, because that's not unique to you or me. We all have something that we think is preventing us from stopping. And what you're doing is you're focusing on the wrong thing. Yes, that could play a role. Yes, maybe you do have that, and maybe even a treatment for that could help you, right? I'm not a huge fan of pharmaceuticals, but maybe, okay? Like, the point being, you're looking at the wrong thing. You need to be looking at your belief systems. You need to be looking at why you consume the substance, and you need to be working backwards from there. Not these extraneous factors that you have going on in your life. Okay? It's something else, but I'll tell you it's not that, because I work with people every day who have ADHD, they have crazy trauma, they have insane lives, right? And it's not that that's preventing them from stopping. So I can tell you right away, you're focused on the wrong thing. Okay. Love the channel. Thanks for all your help. Anytime, I'm happy to help, guys. I called a while ago and you gave me tons of confidence. I'm still going strong, and my past self wouldn't believe how I'm feeling now. It's incredible how much you can change your life just with a simple switch of mindset. And look at that. We did that over one phone call, right? On a live stream. How crazy is that? That's awesome. I love to see stuff like that. It's great. I tell people we can help them quit in 18 days or less, no matter how bad the dependency. So someone says, Mad World Explorer says, what prevents me from quitting is the insomnia. So this can truly be problematic. If you have insomnia, and you can live with it. You can function, you can get through your day-to-day stuff, and you can survive. I tell people just get through it. Now, when it comes to insomnia, I also like to look at people when they're quitting and look at other lifestyle factors and modifications. Maybe we can do supplements. Maybe we can cut caffeine. Maybe it's a screen time issue. Maybe it's a lack of physical activity throughout the day that's preventing them from sleeping, right? So then we look at all the lifestyle stuff. And if none of that is working, how we handle it on my team is I've had several people where they've had horrible insomnia no matter what we do with them, and we have had to do a medication assisted detox working with the physicians on our team. Okay. That may be the case for you, but don't let that stop you from quitting. I mean, I've had people, look, if I got someone going on 3-4 days of, nonstop sleep, that's not being able to sleep. That is a serious problem. That puts you at risk of psychosis and other very severe health risks. So at that point, if I'm working with someone and I'm saying, look, you got to sleep, even if you just get sedated for a little bit, you have to sleep. And, that can very effectively be done through medications. I don't do that, but we have physicians on the team who help with medical detoxes for people. And we do it right from in their houses, comfort of their own homes, right? So insomnia is a real thing. But first, assess the lifestyle modification. Assess how bad is it really, because for most people it passes. But yeah, that's a very real thing. And it's one of the things that can truly become problematic and can actually prevent a person from stopping because they don't know how to manage it, or it's being very poorly managed by their physician or psychiatrist or whoever who has no experience in the addiction and substance use space. I see that all the time. Now, Algar says, let's see here. I work and get through the day, and after it, I think I made a habit when I got off and stop at the dispensary, and after work, I'm telling myself I'm not smoking today. Yet I get off and I get in there. Yeah, so you're viewing it as some type of reward, some type of unwind after a hard day's work, right? That's what's happening. That's what's keeping you from stopping. It's that I have a feeling, I don't know you, I haven't spoke to you in detail, but that sounds very much like the celebratory smoke, the unwinding type of smoke at the end of the night, right? You think that cannabis has the power to provide you with that, and it simply doesn't, okay? But it's your belief system there. I can guarantee you this, that's broken. That's why you're struggling. It's not your ADHD. Listen, you have ADHD and you literally just identified for me exactly what it is your problem is. Okay. It wasn't ADHD. It's something rooted in your belief system that you're dealing with after work. Now, if it was just habit replacement, you can develop new habits, right? I went from smoking weed and thinking about that at night to eventually getting into the social media space well before I was doing it for addiction. I was doing it for my chiropractic offices and other businesses that I had. In fact, I was even in social media for CBD companies and CBD products for a long time before I did this. And, eventually that became my habit at night. Just like I used to look forward to going home and getting high, I started looking forward to going home to editing video content and things like that. So for me, there was a little bit of habit replacement there, but it's the belief. It's the belief that smoking weed after work helps me unwind. Smoking weed after work is a reward for working hard throughout the day. That's what's screwing with you. That's what's messing you up. Yeah, that's the issue. Okay. Day 68 of my new life. Do the vivid dreams ever stop? 68 days still with vivid dreams. Yeah, I tell people they do. They do stop eventually. I tell people in the first 90 days of stopping, you really don't want to make too much of it. I was working with a gentleman recently, high level professional, really intense kind of sales type role, managerial sales role. And he was talking to me about some symptoms that were lingering. He was like, I actually noticed some anxiety, a little bit of demotivation since quitting. And he's 30 days in, doing fantastic. But I was like, listen, don't overthink it. You're going to drive yourself nuts trying to think, when's this going to end? When's this going to change? The first 90 days, it can be a bit of a roller coaster ride. And you really don't want to overthink your symptoms or experiences because they're going to fluctuate in the first 90 days for most people stopping. Now, if the vivid dreams continue to be a problem after 90 days and they're disruptive to your life, again, there are medications out there that can help with that kind of stop that adrenaline and norepinephrine release throughout the dreaming process at night that sometimes temporarily can bridge people really nicely. But yeah, they do stop. I'll tell you what I used to do with the vivid dreams. And my dreams were horrific, like truly like going to a horror film at night when I would go to bed. I would just lay down and I'd say to myself, all right, Frank, what's tonight going to be? Is it going to be a horror film? Is it going to be a comedy? Is it going to be an action film? Something like that, right? So that's how I prepped for the, and I actually got to a point where I came to enjoy them. Even though in every dream I had, I thought I was like getting slaughtered or it was some really weird erotic dream or something like that. It was fascinating. I used to dream that I was in the movie Evil Dead and that I was scolding myself with hot water in the shower until my skin burned off. It was really unpleasant. Probably had something to do with my cannabinoid hyperemesis symptoms too and that behavior, but whatever. I got over it though. Okay. Dagger 3489. I'm at the point where I cough up black tar specks. Yeah, I can't quit. But within hours, it calls back to me. Yeah, the coughing up tar, that's the resin that you're seeing. Cannabis actually deposits, was it 2 times more tar than cigarettes? It was never a problem before, if you're like smoking it, right? It was never a problem before though, because people weren't typically consuming cannabis at the rates that they were consuming cigarettes. Someone would smoke 1 or 2 joints a day, maybe at most, maybe a few times a week. People were smoking 2-3 packs of cigarettes a day. Now it's not uncommon for someone to consume cannabis at the same rate someone smokes a pack of cigarettes a day. So that tar production becomes relevant, right? That's your lungs actively trying to detoxify, okay? So obviously you have to quit. There's supplements out there that can be helpful. N-acetylcysteine, lung cleanse is another good one. Mullein is another good product to help with lung detox. But none of it matters if you keep doing that. Like if you keep smoking, none of it matters. And look, here's what happens for people who quit because they have health problems. You start developing a health problem. That gives you anxiety. That gives you fear. No one ever broke down the belief you have surrounding using cannabis to alleviate the anxiety and fear. And what do you wind up doing? Just smoking a lot more. Right now I'm working with a very prominent psychologist who's struggling with cigarette tobacco addiction. And this individual, they smoked up to 2.5 packs a day. And they recently came across a cancer diagnosis and then a lot of oral health problems. And they're like, I don't understand. I've been smoking more since this diagnosis occurred. And I'm like, of course, because you believe that cigarettes ease anxiety. This diagnosis created a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, and now you're smoking more in response to that. No one ever addressed that belief system with him, including other physicians in the addiction space and stuff like that. Once we did that, he chose to taper. Tapering became significantly easier for him. And we're still in the tapering process for this individual. Okay, I don't believe in addictive personalities. Neither do I. I don't. I really don't anymore. And you could go down a rabbit hole of, do you even believe in addiction, right? So we all have dopamine. So, it varies maybe levels from person to person, right? But we have dopamine, we have serotonin, we have norepinephrine, we all have these behaviors. And I mean, do I have an addictive personality? I guess. But like, I used to say all the time, oh, I have such an addictive personality, I can't do this. I was just labeling myself a certain type of way. And all I was doing by doing that was just continuing to justify my behavior and to justify my limiting beliefs as to why I couldn't change. We all have very similar neurochemicals. And if I have an addictive personality, why aren't I addicted to eating healthier food? Why aren't I addicted to working out, right? that releases a ton of dopamine and all that stuff, and it makes me feel good afterwards. Why don't I do it all the time? Why am I not addicted to sex? So something I've had, right? I got 2 children, all that, so it's like, yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think it's a label. I think it's a limiting belief, and I think people run with it. I know I did for years. Right? It just doesn't even make sense, that whole term addictive personality. It really doesn't when you think about the science of people. Okay, let's see here. Awesome. Awesome. We got people coming up on 500 days of no consumption here, 423 days. Incredible. 2 weeks into stopping black market carts. When does the clarity begin to come back? The black market carts are extremely challenging. It's going to take time. I would tell you, you have to persist for minimally 90 days. You have to start making active efforts to heal your body's endogenous endocannabinoid system. I have a gentleman very high up in, part owner in like a well digging company, okay, big business. And they were coming off of some of these black market, shadier type products. And we had to do a full on medical detox with them because their withdrawal symptoms were comparable to, if not worse than, opioids coming off of the black market carts. So we had to get our physician team involved and make them very comfortable throughout it, because that's why they couldn't quit. They were like, I can't. Like the physical withdrawal, the dependency is just so extreme. I feel like I'm going to die when I stop, but I also feel like I'm going to die if I keep doing it. So, but my tip would be like, healthy lifestyle modification. Make sure you're drinking electrolytes in the morning. Maybe you start using creatine monohydrate to help with brain health, okay? It's a big thing we'll do. N-acetylcysteine, I'm a big fan of that. Are you getting outside? Are you getting exercise? Are you doing things to help your endocannabinoid system? Now, the other question for you becomes, my friend, listen, you're in the first 2 weeks of quitting black market carts. I would not expect you to have mental clarity right now. In fact, I expect it to be worse than before you stopped, to be entirely honest. But the other thing becomes, are there other lifestyle factors playing a role that are disrupting your mental clarity that you need to take into consideration, right? A lot of people will quit and they'll be like, I don't have the mental clarity yet. And I'm like, okay, what's your screen time? And they're like, oh, I was on my phone for 7 hours today on Instagram. And I'm like, do you think maybe that's interrupting your mental clarity and your motivation and, playing a role in some of this procrastination and not thinking straight, right? So, yeah, right? Capped THC, the work I do is fantastic. Thanks for the compliment. Keep on doing what you do. I keep on relapsing a few weeks after each time I quit. I'm a weak POS, apparently. You're wrong. You're not a piece of crap. So you're wrong about a few things here, Captain THC, okay? One, you're not relapsing. You're choosing to go back to consuming the substance for one reason or another. You have to identify what that is and why you're doing that. Like, don't just say relapse. That's too generic. I relapsed. No, you didn't. You made a conscious choice to go back to consuming it because you saw value in continuing to consume the drug. Be honest with yourself. Be honest, right? That's the only way you're going to resolve this, okay? Now, secondly, so you didn't relapse. You chose to go back to using the drug. Unless after a few weeks, your physical dependency is so extreme you can't function without it. That's a little different, okay? Now, secondly, you're not weak. Living with active addiction actually requires a tremendous amount of strength. It requires a tremendous amount of discipline and delayed gratification. You are putting off many aspects of your life to maintain a substance use disorder. Most people don't get addicted to drugs because it is so hard. Like, it is to live every day like you're crawling through quicksand throughout your life. I stole that from I was working with a relatively high-end eBay seller, and he was like, I just feel like I'm constantly fighting through quicksand. And I was like, you are. It's a very high level of work, and it takes a lot of strength to maintain active substance use, okay? You're not weak. Now, what I will say, though, is drugs make a person weak in that they prevent you from truly resolving the things in life that need to be resolved or worked on. And that makes a person weak. Running from things makes a person weak. Not facing things makes a person weak. Not thinking that you can overcome a lifeless, powerless substance creates a subconscious mindset of weakness that's clearly starting to affect you, Captain THC. And we have to break that, because that's going to start to creep into other aspects of your life. I see it all the time with people. I see it all the time with bright, brilliant, successful individuals, people who have more success than I could even fathom. And this mindset starts to chew away at them. It's unbelievable, the people that I work with and how I see this. Okay. Okay, let's see here. My longest stretch is 8 weeks. That's great. So the same thing. What brought you back? What brought you back? You've quit weed 2 times with my help. Hope the third time is going to be a charm too for you. Absolutely. Yeah, that's good though. I'm glad whatever I'm doing is helping you guys on the channel here. All right, let's see here. Let's see here. Black tar, POS. All right, we covered that. Oh, thanks for the gifts, guys. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Let's see. Do you remember your last smoke? Is there a ritual before quitting? No. And most people, I'll tell you something. The people who say, this is my last time, it's going to be this big event, it's going to be a ritual, typically are the ones who struggle to quit the most. The people who successfully quit just wake up one day and they stop. And that's it. They just stop. My last time smoking was garbage. You know, I think I was laying in bed, jerking off, having a panic attack, pounding CBD because I was having a panic attack, thinking the CBD would offset the THC, and that was just making my CHS works. It was a crap show, right? Like literally. So no, and I'll tell you, just another gentleman, guy owns a bunch of hotels, and he kept saying to me, he's like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to quit. I got to get this. I'm going to go down by the river. I'm going to play some music before I start work. I'm going to have my last smoke. I'm going to get a good workout in. And I was like, dude, you are never going to quit because the amount of pleasure you are associating this drug with, despite the fact that I have shown you multiple times that there is no pleasure here, but you still are holding on to that. I was like, you are never going to quit with this mentality. I tell people, throw a wrench into addiction. You've been playing by addiction's plans and games for months, years, or in some instances, decades with the people that I work with. Throw a wrench into it. Addiction knows you're going to try one more time. It knows you want the perfect ritual. And that's the other thing with rituals, too, that I run in with people all the time. I'm like, this is going to be my last big hurrah. Okay. So what? You're looking for the perfect circumstances, the perfect environment, the perfect settings? Because what often happens when people do this ritual is something is off. Something wasn't right. The weather got bad. The music wasn't right. Their mom called them during the middle of it, or their wife, barged in on them or something. And they're like, oh, it got ruined. It got ruined. Maybe tomorrow I'll try again. It's you're chasing something that doesn't matter. And when you truly flip your belief system, I say, when we flip that switch with people, they don't want a last time. They just want to be done. They're like, yeah, I got it now. I'm done. Now, can you make sure I do this as comfortably and correctly as possible, right? So, yeah, so Splat Marina says, I'm a programmer. We've worked with tons of people, and right, I can't tell you the amount, maybe before AI, maybe this won't be the case so much anymore, but how many programmers, app developers, people in the tech space we work with, right? Because I feel like it helps me concentrate. It's hard to think sober. So maybe that's true. So I would say, if that's true for you, why are you quitting then? Like, if it helps you concentrate and it's advanced your career, why are you stopping? There's a reason you're stopping. Secondly, that's an incredibly powerful belief system. If you feel cannabis has the superpower, the ability to help you concentrate, yes, quitting is going to be very hard, because in your case, you're depriving yourself of a tool that you believe is giving you tremendous benefit. And that's going to make quitting extremely difficult for you, my friend. Okay? And then you say it's hard to think sober. What's the longest stretch of sober thinking you've had? It's hard to think sober in the first 2 weeks of getting sober, not because you're sober, but because you're going through detox and withdrawal. And yes, it's hard to think sober when you're going through that. And this is where a lot of people get tripped up. I think I told, I've talked about a lot of my videos. I work with a gentleman, done very well for himself, 3 different companies, sits on 3 different boards, has investors that he has to appease and board members and all this stuff. And he's like, cannabis helps me think analytically. After talking to him for 10 minutes, we completely disproved that. We completely flipped that belief upside down for him. And he was like, wow, I guess it doesn't actually. Now he's what, I think 2-3 months into quitting now. He's working with me for a year. And he's like, yeah, definitely wasn't helping me analytically in the way that I thought it was. But what happened with him was he would quit. He'd get horrid withdrawal and detox. and his thinking would get worse. And they'd be like, see, I smoked again and now I'm thinking better. I'm like, no, you just temporarily halted withdrawal and detox. He was another case where, because of his career role, we didn't want him to disrupt his career. So we did get him connected with a medical professional to help him with a medicated detox so he wouldn't get that crazy brain fog when he was quitting, because he's constantly sitting in on, with board members, investors, and things like that. We can't have these people we work with having a hard time for too long, or the cost to them is crazy. So we can't risk that, right? Okay, let's see here. I mentioned you back. I've stopped smoking for over a year. Look at that, off of my Instagram account. Incredible. Yeah, it's amazing the amount of people we've helped just through social media. It's absolutely incredible. Okay, guys, I'm quitting after it, but I'm so afraid of the void I created. Are you saying that you created a void by quitting? Or are you saying the void you created in life because of cannabis substance use? If it's in life because of cannabis substance use, stop. Stop focusing on the void you created and focus on what it is you want to build. That's all. Like, you're just you're focused in the wrong. You're looking left when you should be looking right. That's the first thing. Okay. Now, if you're talking about a void from cannabis, you would only feel that there's a void in your life from cannabis if you still are under the belief that it's giving you something. Once you flip your mindset, we do this with people. We refer to it as expedited perception realignment. Once you change your perception of your relationship with the drug, that feeling of a void is gone. It doesn't exist anymore. That's not a reason that people would relapse anymore or go back to drug use with us. So those are the two things that I think you may be referring to, okay? All right, let's see here. Yeah, Road Rich Forever 5,000. It's been a week for you. Wasn't a daily user. 25 days out of the month you'd smoke. For the last 3 years, no withdrawals. Very common. And I'll say this, look, people will get really worked up about the withdrawals, and I'll see typically one of two scenarios happen when it comes to withdrawals. People will either dramatically overestimate them, they'll be scared of the withdrawals, and they won't even attempt to quit. Or people will dramatically underestimate the withdrawal symptoms. They'll try to quit. They'll have a very challenging time. And then they wind up going back to substance use. Okay. And then you have some people who just hit the nail on the head the first time around. Right. So, all right. Michael Hernandez, 3220. I found CBD extremely helpful. Yes. CBD is extremely helpful. I use CBD regularly when we're detoxing people and helping them quit. You just want to make sure you have a very good CBD product, third-party testing. You want good COAs on it, organically grown, domestically grown, right? CBD, like any other supplement out there, can be very good quality or very trash quality. I typically don't recommend smoking it. You want a good reputable company, gummies, tinctures, capsules, something like that, right? So, yeah, there you go. So, okay. All right. Let's see. Anytime, guys, anytime. Cardio for hours helps you get tired. That would. It's a reward for getting through another day. That's how you view cannabis. Yeah. So you have to break down that concept of reward. Like, what really is a reward? And why are we so obsessed with rewarding ourselves? This is a societal thing that's created. I'll give you a tip on reward. What does reward really do for a person? So I'm going through my day and I'm thinking about the reward, the reward, the reward, the reward. What that's doing is it's taking me out of the present moment. It's rushing me through my day. And I'm actually missing all the little micro rewards that are occurring in the moment. Okay, I'll give you an example of this. So chiropractor, very successful practice. I'd be treating patients throughout the day. I'd be like, I just can't wait to get home and get high. When will that last patient get here? I got to get out of here. I can't wait to go home and get high. And I'd kind of like just rush myself through my day. And I did this building, I built a incredible business, even with that mentality. And what I found when I stopped was I actually got a chance to enjoy my day. I got a chance to enjoy treating people. I got a chance to enjoy building my business. And that in and of itself became rewarding. I think the truest reward is being able to be present. I think that's the biggest reward. Okay. So my videos helped you cut back instead of multiple times a day, just once a day. That's something we do. We help people moderate all the time, and I am thrilled that you took that away from my videos. Fantastic, fantastic to hear that. Okay. How do as working out helps a lot, but not to replace as a reward, or at least something to look forward to. You have to stop obsessing over reward. Why you're trying to get over the concept of reward. Why? Why are you obsessing over it, first of all? And I say this as someone I reward myself, okay? I do have rewards. I have what I call like micro rewards, I have moderate rewards, and then I have macro rewards. So a small reward for me is at the end of the day, I get to chill out and I can rot away on YouTube for an hour. I play with my kids, I do that, then I just kind of rot on social media for a little bit. That's my reward, straight up. That's my reward. A medium-sized reward is going to be something a little more materialistic. I'm going to go buy myself something, a new rifle, a new whatever, a new this, a new that, a new watch. I don't care. It's materialistic. All right. Bigger reward is I'm taking my family to Europe for a month. That's a bigger reward. Okay. So I do reward myself, but like I'm not upset. The reward is in being present and getting to enjoy my day-to-day life. I very much enjoy my life, even the bad days since quitting drugs. And that becomes the reward in itself, just waking up and getting to enjoy the life I'm living. But like also, people are hyper obsessed with reward. Like I don't really go through my day thinking like, oh my God, I need a reward. I just go through my day, going through my day, doing what ought to be done because that's what has to be done. And a lot of people have this obsession over reward. We're taught that from a very young age. It's very damaging because how do most people reward themselves? They waste money frivolously, they consume substances, or they eat completely junk food. And that's how people reward themselves. It's mostly rooted in self-destruction. The whole concept of reward is skewed these days. So, okay, 90 days, Mark, Mr. Plumber guy. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Stage 1 CHS, recovered. I'm still smoking. My lungs are on the brink of full tar, and I can't quit. You can't quit because there's something that you believe is valuable there, and I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Yeah, no, I don't care about scary dreams. All right, let's see here. All right, let's see here. I'm leaving the hospital because I've had hyper. Yeah, guys, we help people with hyperemesis all the time. If you're quitting and you're having a really hard time because of hyperemesis, we can, we have medical teams that we work with and stuff. I've had extreme cases of hyperemesis. We worked with a young lady. Both her parents were physicians. They referred her to us, and she had, I think it was over 20 gastrointestinal surgeries related to CHS, multiple organs removed. I had another girl recently. She had said she had been hospitalized over 60, 70 times. Just fetal position, constantly vomiting. She was working with a large addiction treatment center actually locally in my area. My team took over her case and she's doing fantastic. Like we can do so much better than other people out there when it comes to this. But here's the problem with CHS. I don't even care about that. That's not even the hard part, getting people through it. It's the belief system. Like, how could you have so much pain and still go back to the drug? Which I did myself. The question is why though are you doing that? What is flawed in your belief system? Oh, thanks for the donation, Superfan 2005. I appreciate that. Yeah, the N-acetylcysteine is no joke. We use N-acetylcysteine all the time in our protocol with people. Great supplement. I make a chewing gum. You guys can check that out. kickitrevolution.com. I don't even promote it anymore because we're so busy with one-on-one clients right now. But great product. It has N-acetylcysteine in it to help reduce cravings. Post-acute withdrawal symptoms tend to last 4 to 6 months, in some cases years. I still have crazy dreams and over a year sober. Yeah, post-acute withdrawal symptoms are very real. You're correct. They're very real. N-acetylcysteine is a supplement, and yeah, just very common. It's a supplement. It's very antioxidant, very good at lung detox, very good at helping to reduce cravings, been shown to help mitigate obsessive compulsive behaviors. I'm the only person in the world who sells an N-acetylcysteine chewing gum. I do that for higher bioavailability of the ingredient, but it also helps with oral fixation for people who are quitting weed, quitting nicotine, cigarettes, pouches, whatever. So only guy in the world to make that, first guy in the world to produce that product. That's me. That's the potential that you guys are sitting on. You have no idea what you're capable of. I'm looking at my product over there in the corner. It's so cool. I always dreamed of owning a supplement one day. I worked in the supplement business for 9 years. I never thought I'd have my own. Really cool. Kickitrevolution.com. Kickit revolution.com. You guys can check that out. You're from Australia. Yeah, you put tobacco in our bongs. Very, very common. Yes, it's very addictive. But nicotine is actually a very weak drug. Okay, we promote nicotine as this very strong drug. It's not. Cannabis is far stronger than nicotine, especially in regard to physical dependency and like changes in the body, right? Your endocannabinoid system is much more powerful than nicotine. Well, I shouldn't say that because nicotine is pretty powerful, but it's not as addicting as it's made out to be. It's a weak drug because it detoxes so fast. But yes, I'm very familiar with the tobacco. I work with a ton of people, right? I have 2 medical professionals I'm working with Australia right now, 2 physicians who are struggling with substance use. I got another guy, really high-level business owner, who came to us struggling with Xanax, gambling, and cannabis. He had really bad CHS. I work with a lot of people from Australia. Yeah, I know it's a big issue over there. But don't think because you're mixing weed and tobacco, like don't let that be an excuse as to why you can't stop, right? Like I did too, right? I'd be smoking weed. I'd have a dip of tobacco in my mouth. Then I'd want to go chill out with a cigarette and a beer. Like, don't let that be an excuse for why you're not quitting. You are still more powerful than that lifeless substance. Okay. Yeah. So day 4, free from weed, 2 days free from kratom. Hot flashes and anxiety are killing you. Yeah. Coming off of kratom and cannabis together is pretty intense. It's not uncommon. Again, kratom is a very common one where if we're working with that and the person's been consuming a lot, we're doing a medical detox with them, similar to how we would do a opioid detox with a person. Okay. I'm still 2 weeks into quitting, still having issues while eating. I start to eat. Yes, and it's disinteresting. I feel nauseous. I absolutely went through that, Stephen. I went through living hell with diet when I quit because I had CHS, so it was like really bad. For a very long time, I was doing 1 meal a day, and you have to think very plain Jane foods. I was doing like meal replacement shakes. I was doing like bone broth, and I was doing 1 meal a day for a very long time. I couldn't tolerate more food, and that continued on for a very long time for me. Okay. Yeah, the alter ego thing is cool. I talk about that, developing an alter ego when you're quitting cannabis. What would your alter ego do in order to quit? I think I just published a video on that, actually. It's like a whiteboard and there's like 3 heads on it. It's a great video. Did not get the viewership it needed. I think people overlooked that one. It's a killer video too. That's all right though. All right, let's see here. How much NAC do people take? Yeah, most people I use around 2,600 milligrams a day. So that's typically they come in 600 milligram capsules. So that would be like 3 to 6 capsules a day, usually at 600 milligrams. Do I have a specific spa rate topic? I'm not sure what you're asking me. I mean, yes, I help people quit carts. And our success rate helping people with that is just as high as anything else that we help people quit. It's extremely high. Carts, yes, most people who called me are struggling with carts. That's what most people are consuming these days. I mean, I certainly work with people who are consuming dry herb. I don't get a lot of people calling me for edibles. Never really that. It's usually dry herb, vaporizers, or cartridges. But yeah, we help people with that all the time. That's what, right? I was consuming dank vape carts before dank vape carts were a thing back in the day. It was terrible. They were a disaster, right? Yeah, sauna helps you get marijuana or THC out of your system faster. Just keep in mind a few things. It's great for detox, but remember, it's going to speed up the detox process. Like you're doing the sauna, you're working out, you're eating healthier, your body's going to break down fat at a faster rate, and that's going to release more stored THC in your fat into your system. So although it helps to speed up the detox, that may also intensify the detox for you. Also keep in mind if you are in a position where you're working, you have you're subjected to drug testing, doing sauna sessions, fasting, intense weight training, all of that can actually cause you to test positive on a test because you're breaking down fat stores and releasing more THC into your system. Okay. I tell people how long to recover from CHS. It really varies from person to person. It depends on so many factors. But again, I say minimally 90 days. But I mean, I don't, it took me way longer than 90 days for my stomach issues to go away and my pain perception to rebalance. Way longer than 90 days. Black market cartridges are referring to products that are not obtained through a licensed dispensary. But even now, licensed dispensaries are constantly coming back. You see these consumer lab reports with all types of pesticides and fungicides in their products. You get these sprayed packs everywhere now. It's really dark. It's actually sad what's going on in the cannabis industry. It's sad what has been done to a plant that probably was more good than bad, right? You get the government involved, you get big money involved, you get big pharma involved, and it's like we have just totally destroyed the cannabis plant and what it was meant to be. And I say that as someone who once really enjoyed it. Like, I feel bad for what's going on in the world of cannabis. I feel even worse for people getting sucked into it. It's like you're like a rat in an experiment right now with this stuff that they're putting out there. It's really sad. And the sad thing is, I'm trying to help people. I'm trying to open people's eyes up to this. We're helping a tremendous amount of people every day, but there's just going to be a massive portion of the population who doesn't wake up to this until 5-10 years from now, when there's severe consequences to their consumption and what we've done to the cannabis plant. And it's going to be really sad. People are going to be really messed up. And it sucks. It sucks. But this is life. This is how life goes. Happened with cigarettes, happened with alcohol. Just now, people are waking up to alcohol. The same thing's going to happen with cannabis. It's going to go through this cycle, and this is how it's going to go. So, yeah, crazy. Okay. Under the covers currently, my legs and knees are sweating. My feet are freezing. Entire face is dripping sweat. Yep. That body temperature dysregulation is horrible. It's horrible when it comes to quitting cannabis. It's because your endocannabinoid system plays such a strong role in body temperature regulation. Okay, but yeah, you're going through detox. Like you're actively going through detox, and that drug is actively leaving your body. I know right now you don't feel like celebrating, but you should celebrate it. You're winning. Your body is doing what it's supposed to be doing. It's getting rid of all those toxins. It's pumping it all out. Okay. So, okay, let's see here. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Yeah, saunas are great. I think saunas are great. I gave you guys my disclaimer. The dreams are so annoying. Yeah. If the dreams are annoying and you're 6 months out and you're doing all the healthy lifestyle stuff, there's blood pressure medications. I'm not going to say which ones specifically out there on the market that you could look into, that you do like a small 2-week bridge to kind of help you with that, and that can help with the dreams. We've had to do that with people, especially who have like really bad PTSD related dreams and CPTSD related nightmares. When they quit cannabis, sometimes that medicated bridge can be a big help. So yeah, and you say, what can you do aside from medication? You're kind of doing everything. The other thing would be just continuing to wait it out and finding a way to enjoy the dreams. I got to a point where I enjoyed the dreams. I enjoyed the crazy intense dreaming. So okay, let's see here. All right, let's see here. I gotta embrace the suck. Yeah, that's a big part of quitting. That's a big part of it. All right, let's see. Let's see. All right, guys, this is good. We covered a lot of good things. Oh, smoking weed for times of boredom. I'll cover this one last. So, you cannabis doesn't cure boredom. For most people, it simply makes them content with being bored. Being bored is extremely important. It's during times of boredom where your brain like copes and deals with things and makes sense of the world. Boredom is where creativity happens, okay, from being bored. And like you have to be okay with being bored sometimes. Now, with that being said, I can't fathom how anyone's ever bored in today's world. Like if I wanted to be occupied 24/7, 7 days a week, I could. And even the fact that people get bored is confusing to me. That's confusing to me at this point in my life. And I used to say the same thing you did, but I like it's hard for me to even understand that. But boredom is so important. But again, realize like cannabis isn't going to fix the boredom. You just get high and then you become content with doing nothing. Like that's not fixing the boredom. If anything, it's keeping you bored. And realize this, you're here watching my live because you want to quit cannabis, which means you're literally bored of consuming cannabis because you're consuming it and it's giving you the same results day in and day out. It's literally the definition of boring. So, right? That's where you got to start, dismantling that belief system. That's what we do with people. Guys, if you enjoyed this and you are entrepreneur, business owner, high-level professional who's struggling in silence with a cannabis dependency, we can help you break that in 18 days or less. We can do this from the comfort of your own home, right? No one else needs to know, no meetings, no rehabs, none of that. We can do everything from expedited perception realignment all the way up to in-home detoxes with our medical team that we work with. And yeah, I put a link in the video description and pinned comment. If you want to learn more about that, you can check that out to see if you qualify to work in our one-on-one programs. Okay, guys, I hope this helps. I had a great time. These were awesome questions. We'll try and do this again next week, Sunday, okay? Enjoy your evenings. Thank you guys for being here and supporting the channel. It means a ton.